Good evening, everyone. Gone for 1 week or a couple weeks, and my camera decides to not turn on. I will be right back.
Okay. Hey guys. Are you ready to be done yet? I feel like I could use more. I'm going to ask if I can audit a couple of classes. Couldn't hurt, right?
No, I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
I know the TAs popped in at different times. I think even when they weren't supposed to be the TA that day, and other people were also there. So I think, okay.
Yeah, I think for any level of, you know, understanding of this, it's good to just go back over anything that you've done with this, similar to a lot of other things, but yeah,
That's
great
for
idea.
sure. That's for sure. I want to go into my job interviews with a little more confidence about what I know and what I don't know. Yeah.
That's better. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good. How are you, Max?
Doing good. Glad to be back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's good to have you back.
Very good. Nathan was, man, he was such a punk. Just kidding. He's awesome.
See, the word I would use to describe is trooper, but I would use that for anyone with a DevOps job title.
Yeah.
Lots of trial and error on that. No other way to do it.
And patient. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, true. Max, I was just saying to Ryan that I don't feel like I'm ready to be done yet, but would like to audit some classes if that's possible. How does that work?
We don't really have a formal program for it, but what we've done in the past is just leak our Zoom link. And you guys are welcome to join on that. If you are going to do that, just like drop a message in chat and be like, hey, I'm a cohort 4 student just listening along. Because always nice to know for the future students that they know who's in the meeting with them.
Mhm.
But what I can do, shoot me a reminder sometime next week and be like, hey, do you have the cohort 5 schedule available?
Great.
Because I can share that. Spoiler alert, it's going to look very similar to the cohort 4 schedule, just 6 months or 7 months later than the courses when you took them.
Mhm.
But we would absolutely love for you to sit in on classes. The other thing, this is kind of like a more of an informal guideline, but we allow students to continue to book one-on-ones with either me or other TAs or instructors. We try and limit you to 1 hour a month, whether you want to do 2 30-minute sessions or one 1 hour session. And that is really up to you to decide how you want to spend that time. Just like your current one-on-ones are, right? So I've had some students come in and be in tears and say, I just had the worst interview. I just want to debrief with you. I've had some students come in and say, hey, I'm working on my capstone, or I got this other project idea, or I'm working on this website for a client for the first time and really just need some senior developer guidance on it. And then I've also had students just come in and be like, I came up with a list of questions over the past month. What do you think about Chat GPT? And I spend 30 minutes answering a question and then realize I should give them an opportunity to ask other questions. So it is totally up to you if you want to take advantage of those one-on-ones. I'll provide feedback if I'm getting booked up with current students. But other than that, you are welcome to continue booking one-on-ones with me or with those other instructors after the program finishes. The main thing that I will say is, just like you came up with an action plan with Laura, you'll want to come up with an action plan for yourselves, right? Hey, I graduate on Thursday. Maybe I want to take that weekend off, or maybe I want to take the week off, but I wouldn't take more than the following week off, right? I would say, all right, I've graduated, I've got my certificate in hand, I made it through this super intense program. Where do I want to channel myself into next? And that is a really interesting question to ask, because something that we've kind of been wrestling with internally is, hey, we trained you guys to be a full stack web developer. But what we've learned through 3 complete cohorts of this program so far is that not everyone comes out and becomes a full stack developer, right? Or full stack web developer. Some people come out of this and go into project management. That's great. Some people come out of this and go, hey, I want to get into quality assurance. It turns out that I really liked learning how the sausage was made, but turns out what I actually like more is testing the sausage and eating the sausage, not actually making the sausage. So quality assurance is something that you could get into. You could say, hey, build in the HTML and CSS. That's where my jam was. And yeah, I learned a lot about React and backend and databases, but I want to just be building websites for people. That's what I want to do. And maybe you have an entrepreneurial spin in there and go, you know what? My neighbor down the street has a business and they got a crappy website. Maybe I'll go down and see if they're looking for a new website. You may say, you know what, I really liked that design aspect of it, but when I played around in Figma all the way back at week 1, or when we did diagrams.net, or when we started doing project requirements, that's really where I'm at. I'd love to learn more about UI design and the principles behind it and that kind of stuff. So we don't have a go-to next steps document where we can say, hey, you graduated, this is what to look into next. But I would certainly be happy to either talk about that on a one-on-one, or if you just shoot me a Slack message and be like, hey, now that I survived the full 24 weeks, what do you recommend next? And I can give you better guidance on that, especially if you have some kind of inkling, right? If you're like, yeah, you know what, Max mentioned databases tonight, and databases are what really interests me, and SQL was a lot of fun, and I would love to know what kind of job I can get working with databases 40 hours a week. Great, I can give you some job titles, I can send you some job descriptions, I can send you some LinkedIn Learning courses. If you have not gotten into LinkedIn Learning yet with your Onondaga County Library card, or if you don't have a library card, I would definitely recommend you get one. LinkedIn Learning is probably the single best resource that you can use following graduation of this class, right? Because you can't survive through this boot camp unless you guys have learned how to take what we've started you on and finish learning it on your own, right? Just the number of hours we have in class, while it seems like a huge amount of time, it isn't enough to learn how to be a developer on your own, right? And you guys, all of you have made it to the point where if you're getting a certificate, you've made it to the point where you now know your learning style a little bit more than you probably did before, because the boot camp is so much learning by fire, right? And so you want to maybe just take a moment the Monday at 5:30 after graduation, where you go, oh, I would normally have class right now, to maybe do a little bit of if you're optimistic, call it a retrospective. If you're pessimistic, call it a post-mortem. A post-mortem is actually used all of the time in the tech industry. And it is basically to say, hey, we went through some bad crap. Things were on fire. We were all running around like our heads were cut off. Now that we survived it, now that we're back to normal, instead of just carrying on, we should look at why things died. We should look at what went wrong. And a good tech company, Slack is notorious for this. when Slack has a major outage, they not only report it on their status page and post updates every 30 minutes, even if they don't know, or even if they don't have any updates to post, but they will also post a post-mortem. And the post-mortem says, hey, we pushed an update to our emojis, and believe it or not, we didn't push the update in the right order, and that caused a cascade failure that took down every message being sent, because every message has the opportunity to include emojis, and that brought down our entire infrastructure. No, I made that up. That's not an actual thing that has happened, but Slack does post, I think on their blog, they post a post-mortem, which are really interesting to read as a developer, because they can give you some insights into the infrastructure of how the company works. And then obviously in a post-mortem, you want to identify not only what went wrong, and how you fixed it, but how you're going to prevent this from going wrong in the future. No, I don't mean to say that your graduation is something terribly wrong with what you have done. What I'm trying to say is use it as a retrospective, use it as a chance to say, what did I learn about myself throughout this program? Where do I want to channel my time? And if your answer is, I want to go right into the job market, I want to look at full stack web developer positions, great, go for it. We've got nothing against that. But also take that moment, look at the action plan that you've already done with Laura, and then look into, hey, maybe I want to look at these other job titles, right? Maybe I want to figure out, hey, the database is kind of interesting to me. Maybe I want to set an objective for myself and say, I found this LinkedIn Learning course. I watched the trailer for it. I watched the first video. This is what I want to invest my time into. Set an objective, right? One of the things that this class has done for you is we've kept the pace, right? You guys know when you have been falling behind. You know that sense of panic. You know, hey, I got to catch up here, because if I don't, next week I'm going to be even more lost. Take that and set deadlines for yourself. When you're going through that LinkedIn Learning course and it's a 6-hour course, don't just go, oh, I'll watch this when I have time. Set some objective to say, I want to get through the end of this, or I want to be spending 2 hours a day learning something new, or, set a schedule for yourself as well and say, hey, if I'm going into a data analyst position and I'm not feeling qualified for it yet, what's my objective? What's my timeline? What's my goal to say, hey, and after 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever you set out for yourself, when am I going to start applying for jobs? The job market has changed in the past, I want to say from the previous generation, but really in the past 10 years, right? This sense of I'm going to get one job and work there for the rest of my life because my employer is going to take care of me. Unfortunately, that's just not the case anymore. And so setting out for yourself and saying, all right, what's it going to take for me to start interviewing, and realizing that your first interview that you bomb is probably going to be more helpful than an interview that you ace, right? Getting out there, understanding what went wrong, what kind of questions you weren't prepared for. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to participate in the mock interviews a ton, but I know I gave Karen my list of questions. So if you mock interviewed with Karen, it's probably pretty similar to a mock interview with me. I came up with the hardest mock interview questions I could think of that are designed to throw you off kilter, right? They are designed to make you sweat it out a little bit. They're designed to be challenging questions. They're designed to be questions that you may get in a real interview. If you did not get the chance to interview with Karen and you would still like to do a mock interview, you are welcome to schedule a one-on-one with me. Just throw in the notes in either a 30-minute or hour one-on-one that you want to do a mock interview with me. And I'm happy to go through those questions with you and give you a little bit more practice. Heck, even if you think you did interview with Karen and you want another stab at those really tough interview questions, you are still welcome to book with me, and I can help you guys through that. Not saying that I am the be all end all in interviews. Every interview is going to be different. as it is in the real world, right? You're going to get a chance to interview with HR people. You're going to get a chance to interview with someone technical. You're going to get a chance probably to interview with a really great interviewer and a really terrible interviewer. And that's something that, you know, you like to blame yourself of going, wow, that interview went really bad. I wonder what I did wrong. Well, interviewing is takes two to tango, right? You may get a bad interviewer, and that may be the best experience you can get to figure out how you want to grow and get better, because chances are you will have another bad interviewer at some point in your future. So really good spot to after graduation say, all right, where am I at? What do I want to keep doing? Because I think a lot of our former graduates will say, it's pretty easy to lose momentum, right? You're going so fast that when you hit the end of this boot camp, yeah, your head is probably still spinning a little bit, but that's not always a bad thing. So keep in mind that we're here for you, right? We don't disappear. Sure, you may not be able to book, you know, a couple hours every week of one-on-ones, but we don't go away. The Erie 21 network doesn't go away. Liza and Kanan at Syracuse Surge and Center State, they don't go away. You know, we are here to continue supporting you guys. But I think one of the most important things that you can do the day after graduation is say, what's my goal? What's my next timeline? Where do I want to take this momentum and channel it? Because there's so many different places that you can take it. And we aren't picky about what job you get. If you go out and become an entrepreneur and start making websites for people, that's great, right? That's helping our local Syracuse economy. That's helping local businesses. Lots of things that you can do upon graduation. In fact, we just added a slide to our graduation deck to show, hey, these are all of the job titles that you guys are not directly trained for, but could very easily take everything that you've learned and apply them into these different fields in technology or subsects of the technology. Any questions on any of that before we get into final week rundown? All right. So the good news is you've made it to the end. We have no new knowledge to impart on you. This is all about feeling like you guys are prepared, you're ready to walk across the stage, and you're ready to tell us about your journey over the past 6 months. With all of that said, I've got some housekeeping stuff to do. And then the way that we are going to run the rest of the week, I'm going to give you a rundown of your presentations. Tomorrow, you'll have the first chance to run through your presentation and also do your first demo. We will also have that 6-minute nerve-wracking timer up for all of you guys. So you guys can get a feel that, hey, 6 minutes feels like a really long time, but before you know it, you're going to be over that 6 minutes and you're going to forget to have demoed your software. So tomorrow, you'll get your first practice. The day after, on Wednesday, we will be doing a dry run. That means you're going to hear from Jesse and me about all the slides that we present in advance of you guys demoing. It's going to give you your chance. It's your rehearsal dinner, so to speak, of your graduation, right? Thursday, graduation. The ceremony doesn't start until 6 o'clock. We encourage you guys to arrive at 5:30. That gives you a chance to connect to the Wi-Fi, make sure your demo's working, make sure that you can pull up your slides, get all the jitters out, get some pizza down your throat, give you a chance to get ready. Doors will open at 6. If your friends and family arrive a little early, that's totally fine. We do our Jesse and I do our little spiel. I'll talk about what a stack is, so you guys don't have to go super in depth with the technology that you've learned. We'll do your presentations, which we will decide the order of in a couple minutes. Then we'll call you back up. We'll hand you your certificates. We'll take a picture of the group, and then you guys are done and officially graduated Thursday, 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish. Any questions on that high level overview?
Somewhat. I still don't have the site working through AWS like you and I have been trying for, Max.
Yep.
Can I just use what I've got? Like,
You
on
can.
my local host?
You can absolutely use localhost. Deploying is not a requirement for graduation. The only requirement for graduation is that you have a full stack component of your site working locally. And the asterisk on that is not only should it be working, you should understand it. And that's a really tough thing to say right now, because you may have it working and you may go, oh, I want to finish this up. I know exactly what I want to show off, and it's not working yet. It is more important that you squeeze all of the resources this week, the TAs that you have access to, me, the one-on-ones, anything. You want to make sure you understand how your code is working, because there's nothing worse than a interviewer saying, hey, I looked you up on your GitHub. I saw your Capstone. I'm curious. Can you talk me through how that's working? And you go, Max, help me. Well, Max Help Me isn't going to help you on an interview, right? So make sure you've got that level of understanding of whatever I'm showing off, I really understand it. And if you don't, that's okay. Now's your time to ask those questions. I mean, the course of the week is your time to ask those questions, right? So after we do kind of our practices and do our dry runs, the second half of class is just going to be open study hall, right? You can raise your hand or you can shoot me a message and I can split out into a breakout room. You want to focus on your capstone, not on what you want to get working the most. You want to focus in on this week of, what do I want to show off? The first half of your presentation is going to be talking all about the journey and everything that you've learned up until this point. Your friends and family have missed you for the past 6 months. This is your chance to tell them what you've been doing, right? This is not a sales pitch. This is not Shark Tank. I wish I could offer you $1 million for your capstone, but I cannot. So what this is all about is sharing how you've grown, what you've learned, where you think you might be going next, and then you get to your capstone. And your capstone is just your chance to say, this is the problem that I set out to solve. This is what these are the roadblocks or the hurdles that I ran into along the way. This is how I got over those hurdles. Oh, and by the way, I only have 2 minutes left of my presentation. So let me do a quick demo, and I'm going to show you guys the thing that I'm most excited about in my project. And that thing that you're most excited about, wherever you're narrowing in on, that's what your focus is for the next 3 days. It doesn't matter if you didn't get login working and you really wanted it to. It doesn't matter that you have links somewhere to your site that you know aren't done. You know not to click on them. You are in control, right? We're not handing over a laptop to someone and saying, hey, click around on my site. Let me know what you think. You guys are going to get up on the stage. You're going to hit share screen in Zoom like you've all done 1,000 times in class with me. You're going to share your screen on your slides. You're going to go through your slides. You're going to exit out of your slides. You're going to pull up your local host or AWS if you prefer to demo from there. And then you are in control, right? Throughout this whole thing, you are going to show what you want to show. And so what you want to think about in the next 3 days, what is that path? What am I going to click on? What am I most proud of? What do I want to show off? We're giving you your certificate. As long as you have something full stack working, we don't really care if you show full stack or not. All we care about is that you can talk about what you are most proud of what you accomplished. This is not about what you didn't accomplish. This is not about the links that are missing. This is not about the CSS that you have poured blood, sweat, and most certainly tears into. This is about, what do you want to show off? And that's what you can use your 2 to 3 minutes at the end of the presentation for. And what you can focus on in the second half of class for the rest of the week of me helping you with. And we're going to try and get a couple other TAs here as well, so that they can help you over the finish line as well.
And can you hold up cue cards for us?
We will have.
Yes, do that.
So let me switch over. I've got a document with a couple reminders just to make sure that I stay on track. Let me send this in the live stream channel. I'm actually going to do it in reverse. So we did together a document of everything that I've been spieling about. Apologies if I forgot to update some things on this, like fall 2022 is actually your graduating cohort. I think I have everything else updated on this. If you see something wrong, just let me know and I can update it. I promise not to read verbatim over this. I think I've already gone over most of it. This is a rundown of the rest of the week, right? So graduation Thursday, the 16th, you guys can arrive at 5:30. We won't start until 6. It is at the James Commons building on Lemoyne's campus, the same place that we held kickoff, right next to the library. Parking lot C or double E. We've got them highlighted on the map. If you have not RSVP'd yet, please take a moment to RSVP. This is the Capstone presentations link, by the way, on that Google doc that I just shared. It is. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sharing the wrong screen. My bad. I'm in this Capstone presentations link here, and that is this doc here. We have some links to the previous cohorts graduations. If you are sweating bullets around presentations, we've got some links for you here. If you really want to go down a rabbit hole, you can check out previous demos from our hackathons. The hackathons obviously aren't quite the same as as graduation, but gives you an idea of how to present a project. A couple blog posts on networking, and then this is probably going to be your most helpful resource in this entire document. This is a view template deck here, and then I also have the example slides linked in the file that I sent. For the love of God, please do not follow this design. This design is intentionally meant to be very ugly, so you don't follow it. You can make these slides in whatever program you would like. If you want to make them in Google Slides, great. If you are a Canva fan and you want to go make them in Canva, go do them over there. Prezi, I think, is still a thing and around. If you want to make them in Prezi, you can make them in Prezi. I'm a Keynote guy because I'm an Apple fanboy through and through. Keynote is installed on all of your Macs. If you want to make it in there, great. If you are a design diehard and you want to make them in Photoshop and export them to a PDF, great, go ahead and do that. You should have an offline copy of your slides just in case there are any internet issues. But for the most part, it is totally fine to hit the slideshow button in whatever program that you design them in and present them that way. 5 to 6 minutes total, 2 to 3 minutes for the presentation, 2 to 3 minutes for the demo. Jennifer, to your point, we do have a section in this document where we will tell you all about the timing. So 6 minute maximum. We will hold up a sign at the back of the room when you have 2 to 3 minutes left that says demo now. And if you go over 6 minutes, we have a time is up sign. We will also slow clap you off the stage. It is the absolute worst job to do. Please don't make us do it because whoever is doing it looks like a complete a-hole. But It is required to get you off the stage sometimes, and we do not have an orchestra to play you off. With that said, we do have a giant timer that we acquired last cohort that will be ticking down in the back of the room, TED Talk style. Timing is the hardest part to get right in a presentation. And so we try to give you every tool that we can. But we have 14 students graduating. 14 times 6 is a lot of minutes. So we will keep you on schedule, and unfortunately cannot give you we cannot let you go too far over that 6 minutes. So as you guys are throwing together your slides and practicing your demos over the next 2 days, you will get a much better feeling for time. You will find that you have way more that you want to talk about and want to share because you guys have gone through 6 months of this. This is a really long time. You're going to be probably worried about hitting 6 minutes, and you're going to present tomorrow for the first time and go, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm at 6 minutes already. We can help you cut that down. If you go under 6 minutes, we aren't mad. That's totally fine. Don't feel like you have to hit the full 6 minutes. 3-4 minutes is probably the minimum that we want to see you hit. But trust me, you guys have a lot to talk about. Artrell, go ahead with your question.
Can you just like record like some Oscar music and just play that instead?
We could you know, maybe get like a top 100 going and just randomize a song and then, you know, make sure we've got the clean version. I haven't thought too far about it. We normally only have to slow clap one person off. But at the back of the room, you will certainly see a very big red countdown clock that starts at 6 minutes and counts its way down. You will also see those signs, right? So when you see time is up, that is your last minute to get in your sentence. Thank you for your time. This has been an amazing program. I'm so happy to graduate, and get off the stage, right? Time is up is not your, oh, I've got 60 seconds to wrap this up. Time is up is saying, get off the stage, stop sharing your screen. The next student needs to go. It sounds like we're militant about it because we are. Trust me, no one wants a 4-hour Emmys ceremony going on. So we do our best to make sure that that does not happen. Yes. Okay. So let me finish going over the slide deck just in case you guys have any questions. Hopefully this is self-explanatory. Like I said, you guys are welcome to use any program that you want. We encourage you to use pictures. If you're not a major designer, that's okay, but you want to spice it up as much as you can. Intro to you, intro to your project. About you, this is probably most important slide, right? Introduce yourself. This is about telling a story. This is not about presenting your capstone. So we want to know a little bit about you. If you want to include any links, you are welcome to. The problem that you're trying to solve with your capstone, right? Why you're interested in it, how you set out to solve it. You want to include your solution to the problem, right? How did I solve this? What is my capstone doing? Talk about your creative process, right? How did you manage your work? What did you learn about project management? What did you learn about other fields of technology that you were interested in along the way? Challenges that you ran into. Yes, this is the slide that I get mentioned in the most. Do not feel obligated to include me in this slide. This is about what you ran into, how you solved it, and you want to transition that into the next slide. What's next, right? Software is never done. So what would you like to work on next? If you had all the time in the world, what would you do to invest into this project to focus on? This is not about, oh my God, I only got 1 page of my capstone working. I was so naive and I only completed 1/10 of what I set out to do. This is your chance to say, well, here's the other 9/10 of this project that I would like to get done. And this, by the way, should not only be what's next for your project. This is what's next for you as well. So yes, you can talk about your software and the features that you want to work on. Also hit on what direction you're headed in. Once your head stops spinning and Monday rolls around, where are you headed? You want to do your demo. This is where you're going to exit out of your slides. You have 2 to 3 minutes to do your demo. Like I said, it can be on localhost, no big deal there. You are not going to plug in your laptop when you get up onto the stage. You're going to join this very same Zoom link that you've been joining forever. You're going to make sure that your microphone is muted, and you can leave your camera off as well. We're going to pick up the microphone from the stage. All you need to do is share your screen, have your slides up, and go from there. You don't actually want to include any slides after your demo. And the reasoning behind this is it makes sense. It's just logical to put in a thank you slide, but it's very tricky after you're done demoing your software to switch back to your slides and remember to hit the play button. So you don't need to include a thank you slide, but once your demo is done, ask the audience if they have any questions, right? Oftentimes your friends and family will be the ones who have questions about your projects, but we've got all different kinds of people attending this. And we've had several times people say, this is a great app. I've got questions, or I can see using this, or have you considered adding this? So once your demo is up, even though your time may be up, say to the audience, hey, thank you. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions on the slide deck? We want to see your first attempt at your slide deck tomorrow. So your homework tonight is get your slide deck together and have a rough idea of what you want to demo. Because tomorrow I'm going to roll in here, believe it or not, shut up, and let you guys present. And so we need something that you guys can run through. The slides don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be finished. We just want something that you can make sure you're staying on track through and run through. Wednesday is your deadline. Wednesday, you want to have not only your slides done, but your capstone done. Because I recommend that Wednesday at 8:30, you do what we call in the industry as a code freeze and a slide freeze. Don't touch it. Figure out a way to demo whatever you want to demo and navigate around what's broken or missing, because you don't want to delete one line of code Thursday at 5:30 and be trying to fix that in the 30 minutes before you have to present. So while it is not an absolute must, we recommend strongly that you stop touching everything Wednesday, 8:30, and just use that as a chance to run through what you are going to present. Okay, let me make sure there's nothing else important in this. I've been skipping all around. We're going to decide the order in 1 minute. It will be live streamed on YouTube. So if any friends and family would like to tune in and cannot make it in person, I believe, hopefully. Oh, I thought that was in here. I'm gonna put a link into the YouTube live stream right now before I forget. I have that memorized right. Okay, there we go. This is now linked. So if you would like to send any friends and family this link, it's youtube.com/hackupstate/live. You can see that we've got that already queued up. This will go live right at 6 o'clock or a couple minutes after, and people will be able to tune in live. Please do not share the Zoom link. That is only for you guys to share your screens with. If you want to share a link with anyone, it's this youtube.com/hackupstate/live. And I also have that linked down in the Capstone presentation rundown section. Recommend that you guys read through the rest of this because there's some good information in here. But I don't think there's anything super pressing that I didn't touch on. Okay. Now for the fun part. Is anyone dying to go first to get it done and out of the way?
I was gonna jump in and say, yes, me, but I thought Zona was gonna jump in and be like, I wanna go first. I wanna get it out of the way, because that's what she.
I'm just not sure what exactly am I going first for the
Your
presentation.
presentation, yes.
Sure, I'll go first.
Looks like Snyder
Oh,
volunteered.
Schneider said me. I mean,
Okay.
Schneider, go ahead.
Sorry, I got chat open now.
Can I go third then?
Yep.
I'll go fourth.
All right, hold on. And sorry if I spell your name wrong. Don't worry, it will not be spelled wrong on the graduation certificate. I will go back and fix it. And I have to make sure that I still have name pronunciations from week 3 or 4. But I will make sure that Jesse has them because he'll be the ones calling your names. But I will make sure that we've got name pronunciations. And if we don't, I'll ask you guys to resubmit them.
Oh wait, so this is for presentation.
This is presentations, but we will also use this order to call you across the stage for graduation as well. And then basically we'll call you across the stage. You'll get your presentation. I think I'll be on the stage. Jesse will be on the stage. Jason will probably be there. You'll shake our hands. You'll go sit down, but don't go anywhere at the end because we'll call you guys all up as a group to get the picture.
Jordan, do you want to switch with me and go second?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
This is pretty normal, by the way. Like, this is why we do it live on this call, because there's a lot of trading that goes on and people like battle out for their spots. So that's totally normal, by the way.
Me next. Yeah.
I gotcha. Who would like to go towards the middle? We got 14 people total.
You want to go seventh? Babe.
I will.
Okay.
Patrick.
That rod.
Naj? Okay. Is anyone battling out to go last or second to last? We can jump to that.
Brian, Brian, why are you not going?
I'll go last. I mean, I really didn't have any particular place I wanted. I just preferred towards the end. But yeah, I could be last. Unless somebody else wanted to be last, like I don't mind someone else being last. You take yours. All right, I'll go last.
I think that's everyone on the call.
Artrell escaped.
Artrell, where would you like to go? You're on mute, Artrell.
I knew that. I was just testing you. I like.
Oh, don't worry. We'll assign you an order. It's
Yeah,
not like anyone gets to skip out of this.
I'd prefer 10th or 11th.
Sure. 10 or 11th. Your call.
10.
All right. So fill the rest of you guys in there. Any questions on graduation or what we're doing for the rest of the week? Definitely. Yep, go ahead.
Sorry, just to recap, we're still working on our presentation, but you want us to do the slide. I'm sorry, not a presentation. We're still working on our capstone if we still need work, but we also have to complete the slides and do a demo for a presentation tomorrow, like a
Correct.
6-minute demo, just so we can see.
Not a
and
6-minute
then
demo, 6 minutes overall.
6 minutes overall. And then on Wednesday, what are we doing? I forgot.
Same thing, except that's a dry run, right? So we're going to show you the slides that we show before we make sure we go in the right order. It's kind of like tomorrow is the practice for the practice. Tomorrow is the Wednesday is the practice itself. That's the dry run. And then Thursday is the real thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And
Then-
when we do practices, we'll have a feedback form available for you guys that you can fill out for other students. And then we'll share the results of that with everyone. So it just gives you a chance to give words of encouragement, or, you know, if you've got a piece of feedback or something to narrow in on, not only will you get feedback from me, you'll be able to get it from your other fellow students. And like I said, the slides don't need to be done tomorrow, but just having something that you can practice your presentation off of tomorrow makes it much easier for Wednesday for the actual dry run, which is when you should have your slides finished. We don't like have you submit them and lock them in Wednesday at 8:30, but that's what we encourage you to.
Okay. Sounds good.
Kalai, go ahead.
So, what are we actually explaining in the project? Like in the capstone, like are we going to like say what is full stack and etc., or what are we just demoing the project?
Totally up to you. You definitely want to demo some part of the project, right? And your slides should kind of cue you up for your demo. So your slides are going to touch on, you know, what problem are you trying to solve? What did you run into along the way? What are you working on next? But then after that, you are going to switch your screen over to the browser, right? You don't necessarily want to be going through all of the code unless there is a piece of the code that like you are particularly proud of. But most people in the audience will not be technical people. They will not be people who can read your code or even tell you what language that code was written in. So you want to demo your capstone, but you want to demo your capstone framed as saying, hey, this is the journey that I took over the past 6 months. This is why I built this capstone. Now let me show you a piece of this capstone that's working to kind of show off everything that I've learned in the past 6 months. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Beautiful. And don't panic about the slides. We are not expecting you to be pixel perfect design experts here. The slides are more to keep you on track and to have something visually to present. If you want to do note cards, I am a huge index card fan. 4x6, my trade secret is I like to do my index cards and actually print them out. Either 3x5 or 4x6 index cards. In fact, I know I've got a bunch of them somewhere around here. So if you would like me to print out notes on index cards, if you guys don't have a printer, feel free to send me a link and I will put them on index cards and have them for you to present. If you want to handwrite them, that's fine. If you have a piece of paper, that's fine. If you have notes on your phone, that's totally fine. If you are familiar with presenting with presenter view, I would caution you not to use the notes in the slides. I'm talking about the notes that show up down here in a slide. Only because when you share your screen, you will only have one monitor and you don't necessarily want your presenter notes to be shared as part of the YouTube recording. So I would recommend that you have, if you are a notes person, if you like to be an outline person, I would recommend index cards or a physical printout, or having the notes on your phone. But if I can assist with any of those things, I'm happy to print out any notes if you don't have a printer and bring them to graduation for you. Any other questions on presentations?
No, but I had an idea.
Yeah.
If it's helpful for anyone else. I wrote up an about me section for the LinkedIn account. And I figure I might use some of that So I'm not having to come up with material completely cold on the presentation part.
Absolutely. Great idea. Any other questions? Okay, I've got some housekeeping stuff for you guys that I need to touch on. One, I posted a poll in Slack for tomorrow. I reached out to Common Space to reserve the conference room for Tuesday and Wednesday tomorrow. And then Jesse reminded me right before he placed the pizza order that there is a giant snowstorm headed our way. And in fact, it's about to start snowing now. The good news is that that snowstorm is supposed to be over around the time of class tomorrow. So I posted a poll. You guys can click on it, and on the link, it should take you into Slack about whether or not we want to meet tomorrow in person. And I don't know about Wednesday yet, only because we're waiting to hear back from Common Space. So I am happy to meet in person just so you guys have more practice experience of doing it live. But I don't want to get to Common Space and be the only one down there. So if you guys could take a minute to vote in the poll, that would be appreciated. That should just clicking on whatever number you would like to vote on there. Like I said, I do think the snow is supposed to be over by tomorrow around class time, but no hard feelings. If you want to just meet virtually, I will let you guys know tomorrow either way about meeting in person on Wednesday.
I thought it wasn't stopping until sometime around 8 o'clock on Wednesday in the morning. No?
Well, weather is weather. Of course, the forecast could have changed.
It's gonna change constantly in the next 20 minutes, so.
Yeah. Can't make any promises there. Just don't want to tempt you downtown with pizza and then, hit you with a snowstorm on the way. Thank you guys for voting on that. If you haven't voted yet, please vote. Second, and probably the thing that you care most about, is you should have gotten an email around 11:29 this morning from, I'm blanking, Austin Johnson. That was not spam. It could have come from it probably came from working-solutions.org. And there was a very good chance that ended up in your spam inbox as well. You guys cannot keep your laptops until you schedule an ISP meeting with them. And Jesse posted this about 11:30 in the Slack channel. You guys need to meet with them. I believe it's a virtual meeting before you guys are allowed to keep your laptops. And I'm pretty sure that this is an all or nothing thing. This is not something that, one person doesn't take the meeting. It's like your laptops are one giant invoice that we send these guys. So we really need you to reach out and schedule that meeting. Only 3 of you have as of about 11:30 today. So search for that email. Make sure you can find it in your inbox. Reply to them. Make sure you get it scheduled. I promise you it is nothing painful to go through this meeting. If you want to think about it as a free laptop on the other side of the meeting, you totally can. So if you
I will say, if I could just add real quick, like,
Yeah.
the wording is weird because I took a lot of reply because of the way it's worded. It's basically worded like you are like a participant in an upcoming program, and they're like onboarding you to get you ready for that program to start, and it's called like the IT security program or something. So yeah, like I figured it was for this, but it was just it almost seemed like it was set in the future and it was referring to a different program. So if anyone sees something like that, it's I could definitely see why somebody would think like scam first. So.
Absolutely.
I thought so too.
And it is, as far as I know, there is no, after that initial meeting, there is no additional obligation. It is just the way that their grant funding is written and the way that we get the laptops paid for you guys. So definitely make sure that you schedule that meeting when you guys get a chance. If you could do it this week, even better. But super important that you guys get that done. Jordan, go ahead.
You may have forgotten what I was gonna ask.
Did you find the email? And was your question, what happens if I can't find the email?
Oh, was I one of those 3 people who scheduled? Did he receive my scheduling for it?
That would require me to find the link Jesse sent me with the spreadsheet of that information.
Whoever hasn't, please, I could really use this laptop. There's no way I can do anything on the old one I've got. So please fill it up.
Let me stop sharing my screen so I don't open that in the wrong tab and call you guys out unintentionally. No, Jordan, you are not one who has completed the meeting yet. You may have reached out to schedule it. We only know if you've completed it or not.
Okay. We just sent him an email back, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you cannot find the original email, that's okay. Just reach out to Austin, and their email address is in the CIC Student C4 channel right above the poll that I posted about class tomorrow. Okay, let me see what other housekeeping that I have for you guys. Definitely get that meeting scheduled. That's gonna let you guys keep your laptops. Okay. You also should have gotten an email from the Hack Upstate email account. If you did not get it, that's fine. We send it through Constant Contact, and sometimes things go through to spam. We encourage everyone to write a thank you email to everyone who's been involved in the program. So there is a link to the mail day spreadsheet right here. Even if you guys don't want to write any thank you notes to anyone, that's okay. We just ask you find your name on the spreadsheet. You may need to scroll horizontally to find it. Click on a oh, you know what? Crap. Hold on that link. I may have linked to the wrong one.
It wasn't working when I was trying to do the drop down.
Now is a great time to realize that I may have sent you guys to the wrong link. Yeah, I most certainly did send you to the wrong one. Okay, hold on, stand by. You did not see the sausage being made. I will fix this. Hold on. Edit. Share. And Kala, you are totally right. You can't edit it, so I'm fixing that right now. I'm going to post this in live stream as well. And make sure that opens. Okay. Slightly different spreadsheet. Sorry, my bad. This one? This one. Okay. Find your column here. Like I said, you may need to scroll over a little bit to find your name because we obviously have a lot of students. We ask that you just pop open this drop down and change it to whatever the current status is, right? We just like to know who's getting involved with this. And it also makes sure that we don't have any of your notes that you've written go to spam. We just like to make sure that the people involved are actually getting the work that you're investing into it. So 3 little drop downs here that you can set. either let us know that you've sent it, say that you're planning on writing one and say I'm going to, or just say no thanks, it's no big deal. We don't expect you to write to all 25 people on this list. And there is one more person that I need to add to this, which is the people at Working Solutions, who are the ones who are paying for your laptops. See, I thought I was all put together after a couple weeks off, and no, of course I'm not. Okay. Oh, I gotta do the data validations as well. Crappers. Okay, now that it's all up to date, and you can go ahead and edit those as well. All these extra columns. Yep, the rows. No big deal if you guys don't do thank yous. In the past, we've done handwritten thank yous. If you really want to handwrite them, you can, and bring them to graduation. I will make sure that they get to the right place. I can tell you that this is one of my favorite parts of going back and reading people's thank yous and what they've learned, and bringing up kind of all the inside jokes that have happened throughout the program and all of that kind of stuff. So this is something that I find really important, just to be able to express your gratitude, right? Let the people know. Obviously, there are 27 people on this list that it takes to be able to pull this program off. So if you can drop them a note, great. No pressure though, and if you choose not to, that's totally fine. But we do ask that everyone go in by Thursday, and just put a value in for each person, even if the answer is no. That's totally fine. If you have forgotten the person, chances are it's not worth writing a thank you to them. That's also totally fine. Like I said, no pressure here, but we encourage everyone to participate in this, just so that there's some gratitude for the program and what it takes to pull it off. Any questions on that? Can someone confirm that they can change one of the drop downs before I exit this? Thank you, Brian. Okay. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Capstones, polls. Make sure you schedule the meeting. Okay, that's all I've got. Does anyone have any outstanding questions before we switch over to capstone questions? Do we feel like we're getting ready for Thursday? We feel like we're maybe a couple days away, but feeling like we're headed in the right direction, or know what we need to get done? May feel like a mad scramble. Do not worry. It always feels like a mad scramble at the end. We have done this not only once, not only twice, but 3 times before. We are prepared for this. So we will have TAs here tomorrow as well to help you. The rest of class is just capstone questions. We'll try and keep it as short as possible. So 10-15 minutes at the very most for questions per person. And every time I answer a question or touch base with you guys, the way this whole week always works is once we get that done, before I let you off the hook, I go, what's next? Right? Because I think you all know that I could finish your capstones for you, But if you've scheduled any one-on-ones with me in the past week or two, you know that I get you a little step closer, and then I give you the next action items to focus on and work on, right? So this week is not about me finishing your capstones for you. It's about me clearing the roadblock and making sure that you've got enough momentum to go on forward and figure out what else you need to get done. So that's what today is about. That's what tomorrow is about. That is what Wednesday is about. If you would prefer to go in a breakout room instead of answering and having the rest of the class benefit from it, that's totally fine. The only downside to a breakout room is it is not recorded compared to class tonight and the next couple nights, which of course is recorded. So if you have a question that you don't want to ask in front of the class, that's totally fine. Shoot me a message in Zoom or in Slack, and we can go in a breakout room. Other than that, if you have a question and don't mind the class hearing it, it can be really beneficial for the rest of the class to kind of see where each other's projects are at, which you guys will be able to see tomorrow anyway when we do our first practice of presentations. If you would prefer to work on your slides right now instead of your code, that is also totally fine. This is up to you guys of how to best use your time. And if you are someone who cannot work when I am constantly talking in the background, you are welcome to drop out of class. I will make sure that you guys all have attendance credit for the final stipend if it hasn't been issued yet. But if you are someone who works better in peace, you are more than welcome to drop out and just hop back in if you have a question. I do have a request for a breakout room. So I will be back in 1 minute to answer any questions that you guys may have. I'm going to try and take a break at 7 to 7:20. If you guys want to take your break now, that's also totally fine. But I will be back in a couple minutes after the student's question.
I'm sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
Where was that initial, or I mean, rather that like housekeeping document that you had? Was that just for you, or did you post that somewhere?
I posted that in the Slack live channel. It is also in Canvas as well. But if you go to the Slack live stream, it is the first Google Doc link that I posted tonight. I will also post it in the Zoom chat as well.
Thank you.
No problem. I am back if anyone has questions. Otherwise, feel free to work on everything and just raise your hand or shoot me a message if you want to go in a breakout room. Artrell.
So coding question to piggyback of what we talked about on, I guess, yesterday.
Yep.
So in my, I guess between my front end and my beekeeper, I was trying to have something show up and it wasn't working.
Okay. Do you want to share a screen and go through it?
Sure. Let's do that. All right. So hold on. Let me get to my. All right. So here in my beekeeper for location, I try to put in the link that'll take you to the store's, location page, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
So in my front end, because initially we had the store.location link, but it wasn't lining up. It was lining up incorrectly. So once I
Okay.
commented that out, I tried to do store.location. Like
Okay.
here, because you
Yeah.
had store.coupon link. So I just store.location. Right.
Yep.
And now it's not a hyperlink.
Okay. But
Coupon link it.
careful, because the only link that you have in your database is for, oh, it is for Wegmans. So
Yeah, those don't work. And that's why I'm kind of stuck, because I thought I was following it correctly with the stores.location and putting the hyperlink location in there. But obviously I'm doing something wrong.
yes, but if it's any reassurance, I don't know what you're doing wrong yet.
Okay.
Um,
Sorry, Max, can you create a breakout room?
yeah.
Sorry.
Is that with Mel?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me make him co-host so he can do it as well. Sorry, Mel. Okay, you both should be able to, I think, go into it now. Okay, I don't see anything immediately wrong, so I think you're on the right track, Artrell. Store name, store location, and that's in your second column. And if we just put the number 2 in there. Okay, that's my first sign that's, oh, no,
Why'd they all change?
because I just put a number 2 in here and they
Oh, got it.
all are using that. So that's not the problem.
Okay.
Store. Oh, I've got an idea. Can you, oh, I can do it. Never mind. Where is your VS code? Oh, here it is. Do you have your backend open?
Yeah, give me 1 second. All right, where's my cursor? There you go.
What's going on with your location?
Oh,
Believe it or not, if we put that back in and I refresh here, you've been linked. that was it. That was the fix.
You're the man.
That was a good one, though. You had me going for a couple minutes.
Didn't make it to 5 minutes, but oh man, thank you.
We really should have an award for the last week of who can ask Max the hardest question, and just whoever takes the longest time to get the answer gets some prize at the end.
That's awesome. Oh, Max, thank you. This was causing me grief all day yesterday. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just do other stuff. So I really appreciate you.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
All right. Yeah, so that's it for now.
Schneider, hopefully you're still in the room. Yes, you are. Slides are due. A first draft of your slides are due tomorrow, just so you have something to practice off of. But the final version of them isn't really due until the end of class on Wednesday. And I use the word due loosely, because you can keep making edits on it after that. But you want to shoot for the goal of having them completely finished by end of class on Wednesday. And the suggestion that I like to make is focus on your content first and your design second. So even if you just have an outline tomorrow and don't have your slides complete, that's okay. More important that you get the practice than that they look super pretty.
The PowerPoint should be fine, right, Max? I can use the
PowerPoint's totally fine.
Okay, okay, thank you.
PowerPoint, Google Slides, Keynote, Prezi, Canva, any of those are go-tos. If you have some other unique one that you would like to use, that's also totally fine, as long as you can present it on your laptop and hopefully have an internet or an offline backup copy. Doesn't matter to us where you make it, whatever you're most comfortable making it in. Or if you'd like to do an interpretive dance of your past 6 months, you could do that as well, but maybe a little too creative.
Can we incorporate pigeons with our dance?
That may cause some health and safety violations.
All right, fair enough.
Max, I have a problem with the backend.
Sure, sure thing.
Yeah. So we did edit this when we met last time, but now I'm trying to add the patient name. It's not updating in the Postgres actually. So
Okay. So that is let me request. So your back end code, your front end is back. correct?
everything
Okay.
is there. Yeah.
Okay. So let me take a look here. And that is outpatient. And outpatient is going to your 3001. And so just refresh. Okay, so it's not loading in the way it should be. So let's try this. I'm going to, oh wait, that's the add patient. We want to do the get patient, and that should be doing this. So I'm going to console log the patient's data just to see if the API call is working. And when we refresh, we get a failed to fetch connection refused. Okay, so that's obviously not a good sign. I'm going to take this console log out because we don't need it. And then when I go over to your back end and scroll all the way down, we get an app crash that bcrypt is not found. So that is because you're pulling in bcrypt here, but you haven't installed bcrypt yet. So I'm going to look in your package.json and, oh, you do have bcrypt
It's
installed.
there. Yeah.
I take it back. The problem isn't with bcrypt itself. It's that you deployed everything to this archive.zip, but you deleted your node modules when you were doing that archive. So to get them back, we need to rerun our npm install. And now when we do our npm start, you'll notice we don't have that bcrypt module error. And when we go back to the front end and refresh, we have our patient's names working again.
Okay. Thank you, Max. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my break. I will be back in about 20 minutes.
I am back in case anyone has questions.
Hey, Max.
Yes.
I tried to have my footer show up on my location screen. I imported it at the top
Yep.
in my location.js, but it's not appearing.
Did you put it as part of the return as well?
No.
Importing it isn't enough. You got to tell it where you want that footer to show up.
Makes sense. So I got to put it at the very bottom.
Yeah. Close to the very bottom. Yes.
Gross. Within within my return curly brace,
You got it.
or parenthesis rather, but yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Eva. We are in the open office hours half of class. So if you have any questions on Capstone, fire away. Or if you want to go into a breakout room, we can do that as well. And then I would say just catch up on the first half of class once the recording posts. I went over the slide deck and all of that kind of stuff. And all of the stuff that I went over is in the live stream channel in that first link that I posted. There are just a couple reminders in there that I went over in the recording.
Okay, so you already posted those in the live stream?
Yes. And if they make no sense to you, wait for the recording and then they will.
Okay, and there is a quiz and a homework this week?
No, well, kind of homework, no quiz. Homework for this week is to get your slides ready. So there's an example slide deck for Thursday that just gives you an idea of what content to cover. Tomorrow, first half of class, we'll do just like a draft run through of your slides and your demo, just so you get practice. And then on Wednesday is like the actual practice dry run. So that's when you should have your slides almost completely finished, if not totally finished, and a good idea of what a 2 to 3 minute demo looks like. And then Thursday is obviously graduation. Be there by 5:30, and then we'll kick off at 6.
All right, I'll check the live stream channel to see what that says.
Cool.
Question. Mail day?
Yes. So we sent out an email for like thank you notes, but it probably ended up in your spam because we sent it through Constant Contact. Maybe we sent that a week or so ago. But basically it's requesting that if you are interested in sending thank you notes, go to that spreadsheet and just put a value in, either saying like I'll write one, or that you sent it, or that you're going to pass on writing a thank you for that person. Try and shoot for having them done by Thursday, not the end of the world if that happens later. And don't feel obligated to write a thank you to everyone. But we just like to provide all the contact information in case you feel obliged to send someone a thank you note.
You said who was it sent by?
It would have come from the team at Hack Upstate address. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find. When I find the email, I'll copy and paste it into Slack, just so everyone has a copy of it.
It's not through Eventbrite, right?
No, it would have come from the Hack Upstate email.
It's called mail call?
Mail call, that's it.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Kalai, I'm not quite sure what you mean by ABT priority number.
Oh, sorry. It's
Oh,
about.
About priority number. Got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I once I said it, I went, oh, about. You're asking like, is there a way for the program to figure out the priority?
Yeah. Like it's just I don't know how to do it, so there should be some program like based on the patient thing, it needs to update the priority number, so I don't know how to do it. So like what is the best way to update that one?
Familiar with the phrase can of worms? That is a little bit of a can of worms in terms of it being quite technical to be able to pull that off. So this is actually why Exona has appeared to disappear from the meeting, because she has taken Mel hostage on working on her algorithm. And so that's basically the answer to your question as well, is you would need to come up with some kind of algorithm that would score each one of the patients based off of the data that they've entered.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you would need to, and then you could even go even deeper there and say, all right, well, maybe I have a list of 15 different common issues that they come into the hospital for, right? But the trick is with a hospital ER room, the priority list is always changing, right? So if you're the only one there with a broken arm, you're probably going to get seen first. But if someone comes in with excessive bleeding, your broken arm is suddenly going to change your priority from 1 down to number 2. And so really what you would need to do in a fully functional system is to say every time a new patient gets added or their patient info gets updated, go run through all of the patients, score them out based off of whatever algorithm I determine to determine priority, and then sort them based off of whatever their scores are. Whoever has the highest score gets the number 1 priority. Whoever has the second score gets number 2, yada, yada, yada. That's obviously going to be quite involved to build. I kind of wonder, so you have 2 options. One, you could say, I'm going to make it so the hospital can just enter the priority number, and then that information gets saved in the database and reported out on the other screens. That's one option. The other option is you could kind of fake it till you make it and say, hey, every time a patient gets added, we're going to come up with a random priority number based off of the number of patients that are in the system.
Okay. So I can just avoid the algorithm right up, like as of now, right? So I
Yes.
can just tell them. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, you can take either approach there. You can either say like, hey, the priority is set by the hospital staff, and then that priority just gets reported out on the patient page and the 911 page and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Or you could say, hey, I'm going to figure out how many patients are in my database, and then every time I add a new one, I'm going to just randomly assign them a priority number.
Okay, but the best way is to use the algorithm, and that determines who is getting it. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's something that you can definitely include in your next steps of saying, hey, this is how I'm doing priority right now, but eventually I would like the system to get smart enough to be able to assign the priority.
Okay.
And then you could even, if you really wanted to get fancy, say like, oh, I'd love to work with artificial intelligence for it to learn, who's the highest priority in a waiting room.
Sure. Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
well past Thursday.
Yeah, thank you. So,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah.
Question, in the about slide, we're supposed to put our link to our site?
You can if it is deployed and you are up for people going to it and testing it out.
I actually already had an outreach group today and they've emailed, shared and done a bunch of stuff with it already, so.
Great, congrats, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's fully deployed. The only thing that I couldn't finish do was the page that I was working on, the new pantry page, but everything else is working.
Cool.
But if they do submit something, it's not gonna crash. It's just not posting to my keeper and I can't figure it out.
Okay. Do you
Okay.
want help on that now, or are you still working through it?
I'm still working through it. I'm trying to see if I could create these slides. That way you could give me an idea if I'm in the right direction.
Sure.
Right.
I am back if any questions popped up while I was gone.
Max, I need your help.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Uh, I did change the temperature, date of birth, but they are not updating in the database.
Okay. So your request remote. So we did the database updates for add patient, and we did it for getting the patient, but we didn't integrate. We just did update patient data, but this is only doing it locally in state. And on top of that, it's only doing that for H. So what we need to do is you need to write out a post request that will update that information.
Okay, so I could update the oxygen and pulse rate. I just put some codes. It started working, but the date of birth and others are not working. So I wasn't sure.
Is that on the outpatient page?
Yeah. Yeah, I did put the pulse rate and those things worked. I put the date of birth too, so but it's not updating.
Interesting. Okay. Patient age. Patient age. But you're saying date of birth, patient date of birth. That's because you have it as an integer here, and it probably needs to be a varchar.
Oh, okay. So
So to fix that, we go to your back end and we change this to a string. But we also need to go to Beekeeper and tell Beekeeper that patient date of birth is now going to be a varchar 255. And don't forget to hit apply on that. And now that it's applied, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to pick Caitlin. I'm going to put in date of birth is tomorrow. Absolutely no sense, but whatever. And if I refresh and then go back, still not working. Let's see, though, if we go back to data and refresh date of birth, patient date of birth, patient date of birth. That all looks right. Okay, here, I think this is a problem. This is setting age. It should set
I
date
missed that
of
place.
birth. And then that might be the problem. Let's see. We set it for today. We click off. We go to someone else. We come. Oh. Okay. Refresh. Okay, so now it's set in the database. So that's good.
Okay.
But when we come in here, it's still not setting that, and it should be. So we have date of birth. Value is date of birth. How did we do set patients? Get patient's name, add patient, update patient data. So we find the selected patient. I think this is what we need to do. We need to say set date of birth to the selected patient dot patient date of birth.
Okay.
And so let's try that. We go to me, we go to Caitlin, and now date of birth is coming in.
Okay. So okay. The temperature is also not showing up. I don't know why. Maybe I think it has to do with the integer probably, I guess.
That's a good guess. Instead of integer, I would change this to, oh, what do they call it? A float? Float, and then in here,
It's integer, yeah.
I think we do a float here. And then we also would need to update this to say set temperature to the selected patient's temperature.
Okay, so
And so let's refresh. Let's go to Caitlin. Let's change their temperature. Go back to me and then back to Caitlin. Let me just refresh and go to Caitlin. And there's your 98.
okay, so I'm gonna check here the back page. So
Data down
is it
here.
this one?
That switches you over. And
Okay,
then
it's updating. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Max. At least I'm trying to get at least this one page working. So
good progress. Good work.
thank you.
Hey, Max.
Yes.
I don't know why my camera's not. What the heck? All right.
It's fine. I
So
don't want to see you either.
okay, fair. So when we're in CSS, would it be font family or font style to make it bold?
Font weight.
Font weight. That's why. Okay, thank you very much.
No problem. And then font weight, you can either do font weight : bold semicolon or font weight : and then it's like 400 is regular, 500 is semi bold, 700 is bold, and 900 is like extra bold. 3-minute warning. If anyone needs help, now is your time to ask.
Max, would you prefer to help me in a one-on-one either tomorrow or the day after, just to finalize those two things in CSS that you said? I'm only having a small issue.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to take a stab at it now if it's quick?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, right here. I,
Yep.
for some reason, cannot get these to separate. And I put a thumbnail in there of like a TV screen and I can't get them to the right size that I need.
Okay. Let's start with request. Now, do you really want it to be a background image, or do you want it to be an image with the text underneath it?
I wanted it to be like a background image because like the screen is blank on it.
Okay. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bump up okay, first of all, your styling of the Cal 5 scares me. And here's why it scares me. If you
Cal 6, you
use
mean?
Cal 6, sorry. Whenever you use another Cal 6 anywhere on your site, it is now going to have this background image and your font weight and a beautiful aqua border around it.
That all sounds good. No, I'm just kidding.
So
I get
what I'm going to suggest that you do is, because it's already in an ID called channels, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, hey, the styling of this Cal 6 only applies if it's in this ID of channels.
okay.
The problem is that you are in app.css and we can't target that in CSS. We have to use Sass for that. So we're going to get a little sassy. We're going to install Sass. And we're going to rename this to app.scss. And then in your app.js, we want to update that to be scss. And we're going to restart it. And now you'll notice it's not screaming bloody murder at you because we're using Sass instead.
Okay.
Okay, good. I thought I had really broken that. All right, now you've got a little bit of padding here, but not enough padding. With that said, you probably want these channels to be a certain height. So let's say that there is a minimum height on this column of 100 px.
Okay, that's what I couldn't remember was minimum height. Oh, that's not a small enough thumbnail.
Well, that's okay. What we want to do is tell it, hey, when you're trying to figure out the background size, try and contain the background image inside the space that you have.
Okay.
Now we need one more thing. You know what? Let me try this as a cover. I can never remember if cover or contain works better.
Let's cover it. That's dope.
And from there, you could say, hey, I want a little padding on the top of 50 pixels. And okay, it's a little off, but you get the idea from there.
Yeah.
Did I answer one question, both questions, or neither question?
You answered all questions, actually.
Okay.
The space in the center, I just have to put more padding, you said? Like 30 px? Maybe 20 px?
You want it to be over to the left a little bit more?
This line right here.
Oh, you want a gap between the columns,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Bootstrap. That's called the gutter. And gutters are the spaces between columns. And you would have no idea it was called that because I didn't know about gutters for about 5 years of me using Bootstrap. And someone introduced them to me, and then I got really pissed off that I didn't know about them sooner. The best way to use a gutter is not put your mind in it. You've got that's in your call. I'm in the wrong. Am I in the wrong file?
Channels.js.
Okay, so you got your row here, and you use this weird thing called GX, which is for your gutter spacing, hold on. 5.2. That's padding. Horizontal gutters are gonna be, yeah, that should have worked. Let me try it up here, but I don't think this is gonna fix it.
Concepts are weird.
That should be working. Why is it not working? Vertical gutters, vertical and horizontal. All right, let's just try it as a G. Okay. I'm gonna get a little hacky. What if we put an extra column that's just a 1 between the two of them? Oh, then I broke this.
Nice. Dope. And
That
then I would,
is definitely not how I would want to do it in production, but it achieved what you were looking for, so we'll
Fair.
leave it alone.
all right, awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. Last call for questions.
And then for the shows section, you said just put a show and what else, like the time or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. Any questions pop up, hit me up in Slack. One-on-ones are still available. Hopefully you are working on slides. Hopefully you have something to practice showing tomorrow, and then Wednesday is going to be your major deadline to make sure that you've got something good, ready and good to go. See you guys.
Hey, Brian, are you good? Okay, yeah, he might have stepped away. All right, good night, Zona.